everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I figured I'd go over a couple articles today that just caught my interest. The first one, as you can see, Disney and other studios with streaming platforms work with Congress to crack down on piracy, arousing free speech concerns and ignoring the real problem. This article is by J.V. Augustine. It was written on April 27th, so I'm tardy to the party on this one, but we can go from there. This might come as a shock, but Hollywood doesn't like it when you watch their stuff without permission. Since that practice is illegal, the law is on their side and they have a valid grievance. However, while all appears airtight given that fact of life, there are broader implications. Disney primarily, and every conglomerate with a streaming service are towing the line of those implications that involve free speech by dragging Congress into the fray. The two institutions are working together to draft another bill to combat piracy. The Motion Picture Association, in tandem with members of Congress, wants to pass judicial site blocking legislation to stem the tide of illegal streaming that's seen a sharp increase in the last year. Not so coincidentally, streaming subscriptions have fallen in the same period. Piracy has a host of consequences the MPA is worried about. In the U.S. alone, piracy steals hundreds of thousands of jobs from workers and tens of billions of dollars from our economy, including more than $1 billion in theatrical ticket sales. Organization chairman and CEO said organization chairman and CEO Charles Rivkin at CinemaCon via Quartz. Before we go further, as far as piracy from theaters, you know what happened there? It's whenever all you idiots decided idiot streaming services said we're going to take our new movies and simultaneously put them on to streaming instead of and into theaters, and you figured that people would still go to the theaters at the same time. Yeah, that wasn't happening. You cornholed the theaters by your actions. You royally beat them into the ground. I love going to the theater personally. I prefer to watch movies in the theater. But whenever they started throwing new movies straight onto the streaming at the same time, why oh why would you pay to go to the theater whenever you could basically sit home and watch it for $15 instead of 50, because you gotta get popcorn, drinks, stuff like that. But going to the theater is more of an experience. I mean, I personally prefer it. But well, let's actually see if we can hear some of his words on this one.
Well, just some things in the weeds. We can't talk to you about learning about piracy of intellectual property, primarily movies and television shows. I know you're a leader in that. How are you doing it? How are you getting other countries to work with you? And how successful are you being?
So it's a really important question, Ambassador. And piracy is existential to our industry. Our industry is, again, one of America's greatest export industries, and it generates about 3 million jobs for Americans across all 50 states. Piracy erodes all of that. And so it's a huge priority for us. I mentioned Jack Valenti, the famous guy that was one of my predecessors. His era was kids on the corner selling DVDs was piracy. In my era, these are criminal enterprises. These are mob enterprises. These are sex trafficking, drug trafficking, prostitution, money laundering. These are the type of people on a global scale that steal a lot of things, including our movies. And so how do we fight that? You know, you mentioned Netflix and streaming being part of the association. You can, what they call stream rip, which is steal a stream in about 4 seconds right now with the highest equipment and the highest quality. And 3 seconds later, you can upload it online. So, you know, in under 10 seconds, they're going to take one of the most popular Hollywood product and just zip it out illegally. So what we did was we built something called the Alliance for Creativity and Entertainment, which is my 6 MPA studios, the largest studios in the world that the ambassador articulated. And I added Apple TV Plus and Amazon Prime, who are also massive. They're not part of the MPA yet, but they are making a ton of product. And then I got about 50 other companies from around the world. And what we do, Ambassador, is we go after the supply chain. So we go after the guys that are hosting illegal content. We go after not individuals, not people that are stealing, but the actual infrastructure itself. And we work with local law enforcement. So, for example, I was just given the highest honor of the government of Spain because we helped them generate literally, I think, billions of dollars of revenue. We have hundreds of our employees on the dark web. We know exactly where these bad guys are, where they live, when they steal things, and we present airtight cases to local law enforcement around the world, and they send in the teams to break up the rings. And we're doing good, and we're saving jobs. So it's really, we're making a difference. It's an ongoing battle because the technology changes the fight and keeps evolving. But our group is growing, and our technology is improving, and I'm pleased with where we are right now in this fight.
Now, where you talked about the Graphic State goal to allow film, television, music, and book publishers to request in court that internet providers block websites and share illegal or stolen content. Says, of course, sounds good, but not everybody is convinced. The MPA tried to push legislation in 2012 called the Stop Online Piracy Act that failed because it was feared the law would have a negative slippery slope effect on the free speech of internet users. Even Google and Wikipedia were against it, noted courts. With today's announcement, the MPA has made its intentions crystal clear that it wants to give itself and its members the power to force any internet infrastructure provider up to and including the broadband providers that service your home to cut off access to websites on their say-so alone, rebutted Senior Policy Counsel at Public Knowledge Meredith Rose in a statement. We oppose any attempt to ram through censorious legislation developed entirely in secret without the public hearing the harsh consequences of this previously failed proposal. This needs to happen out in the open so that the public can see all the ways in which this proposal is fundamentally and irredeemably flawed, her statement added. Protecting free speech to some people comes with the false assumption we have to let piracy run wild and unabated. But while the practice might be on the rise and costs show business reported tens of billions, cracking down on it doesn't address the brute problem. The piracy in question on the rise of the streaming content, and the trend correlates with the rise in prices of streaming subscriptions, which are getting ridiculous. And now they're wanting you to, they are giving you an option. You pay for it and you get ads, or you pay more and you don't get ads. But soon that won't be enough. They'll just keep raising that price too. As Professor Michael D. Smith of Carnegie Mellon University put it to courts, it's hard to get people to pay for something that they know they can get for free. Then there's the eminent domain aspect to consider, where no personal ownership of the content exists. You don't keep what isn't yours and the studio. What isn't yours and the studio. It all belongs to can yeet anything off their platform at their leisure. Yeah, I've seen that is a possibility with some Disney movies you can't even find anymore, old cartoons and stuff. If people are denied, say, Westworld or Space Ghost Coast to Coast or physical media, and they want it bad enough, they're going to find ways to watch them no matter how many firewalls and barricades are in the way. But those are examples of old shows, you probably say. What about new stuff? Assuming that's a serious question, we know how that's working out for them, especially Disney. Never has there been more of a glut in offerings of IPs they own, such as Star Wars and Marvel. Moreover, never have there been greater complaints and disillusionment from fans over the quality and forced messaging layered deliberately within the programming. Yeah, the quality of the stuff of the shows is shot. They're talking about Disney and Marvel, and everybody can see that. And same thing with Star Trek on Paramount, Doctor Who, you name it. There's not much worth watching anymore, and they just keep raising the prices for what? We're not getting any better content out of it. I mean, look at Netflix. There's some things I watch on there. One Piece was great. I watch a handful of other things, but mostly what I watch is stuff out of Japan. American stuff has gone down the toilets. Amazon Prime, I watch it mostly stuff British. I mostly watch British stuff on there, and a handful of American things, but not many. It's just, we're getting crap. The stuff that these people are pushing is crap, and everything has to have the message in it. We're paying to not be entertained anymore, basically. Turning their backs, fans are shutting it off, and canceling their Disney Plus bundles. Hollywood can't take them for granted anymore, and may be faced with a more serious crisis soon. Figuring out how to win the viewers back, assuming they care. They don't care. That's the thing. They really don't care. If not, and all signs say the content purveyors don't, then they literally have cooked their golden goose. Cooked it, hell. This thing's burnt to a crisp. It's like that video from years ago where they were on it, showed some people in the Navy roasting a turkey behind a jet on an aircraft carrier. Yeah, that's basically what they did to the golden goose here. But no, they're expecting you to pay more for less. Or worse yet, they expect you to pay more, get commercials, or pay even more than that, so you don't have commercials. All the while you still get less. I mean, for every one good show, we're getting a dozen bad ones. It's not worth it. I don't agree with piracy at all, so that should be pretty obvious here. It's wrong. I mean, I don't agree with what it's done to the theaters. I love going to the theater. There's a lot of older movies I've been watching. Like this past weekend, I went to see Alien in the theater for the anniversary of it, the 45th anniversary. I'm going later this year in September to see Blazing Saddles. I'm going to see White Christmas in December, the anniversary of that. Here a little bit back, I went to go see the anniversary of Gone with the Wind. There's not much new stuff that's worth watching, but it's a self-inflicted wound by some of these. Whenever they talk about, well, we're losing in our box office sales in the theater, well, that's because you're putting it straight on your streaming service, you dipshit. I mean, there's just no reason. Are there lockdowns now? No, those are over. You want to get people to watch it in the theater, that'd be a good thing. It helps out the theaters that you shafted this whole time. Like what we're doing to AMC and others. We put all your new stuff straight onto the streaming service at the same time you released it in the theater, and then you complain about the low ticket sales. What do you think was going to happen? Especially whenever, as they put it, if they can watch it for free, they're going to find a way. It's wrong, but they're going to do it. So, but let's continue. This next article kind of goes in with this. Survey suggests Netflix ad plan may have more than 20 million subscribers in the U.S. This is by Tyler Aquilina. I guess, I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to butcher your name. I'm just terrible at names. This is on Variety. If the plan for Netflix's ad tier was to follow a crawl, walk, run progression, as the company's CFO once put it, the business now seems to be walking at a healthy clip. This, mind you, this article is going to tick off a friend of mine who will probably be canceling his Netflix as soon as the ads kick in because he's done it with everything else that has ads. Results from the latest quarterly streaming survey by HarrisX, shared exclusively with Variety Intelligence platform, shows that Netflix's ad-supported tier is, as of the end of quarter one, the second most common subscription plan for the service among U.S. households of the four tiers Netflix offers. Out of more than 9,600 U.S. Netflix subscribers polled, 27% were on the standard with ads plan, behind only the standard plan, the cheapest ad-free tier currently on the domestic market at 32%. Before we go any further, yeah, the economy's fried, so people are going to say, all right, well, we'll take it cheaper, we'll deal with ads. Well, these streamers that are putting ads back into things, they're basically turning themselves into broadcast television, which is going to make people say, what the hell, we're not getting anything for it, and then all the streaming services added up, even with commercials, it's costing as much as us to pay a cable bill. Just wait, it's going to happen, because they're going to keep raising the prices up. Netflix plan breakdown in the U.S. Survey Q, which of the following Netflix plans do you have access to? You got basic with ads at $6.99 a month, regular basic at $11.99 a month, premium $22.99 a month, oh dear lord, and standard at $15.49 a month. These results suggest adoption of the ad plan has accelerated significantly since it launched to muted results about a year and a half ago. It's unclear how many users currently subscribe to the plan worldwide. Netflix has never revealed exact subscriber counts for the AVOD tier and has not disclosed any figures since announcing in January that it had surpassed 23 million global monthly active users. But based on rough extrapolation from these survey results, around 22 million users may now exist in the domestic market alone. Netflix had about 82.7 million subscribers in the U.S. and Canada at the end of quarter one, per its earnings report for the quarter. 27% of that figure is about 22 million. There are caveats to this estimate, of course. The HarrisX survey covered only the U.S., not Canada, for instance, but it's not an unreasonable ballpark for the ad plan's domestic user base. The U.S., after all, is Netflix's largest single country market, and standard with ads is available in only 11 other countries worldwide: the UK, Australia, Brazil, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Mexico, and Spain. And if we assume that the AVOD tier has maintained its November to January growth rate, the ad plan had 15 million monthly active users at its one-year anniversary last November. Its global total would now stand at more than 30 million, around 11% of Netflix's subscriber base. Not too shabby considering the ads business is less than 2 years old. Its upward potential also remains significant, according to the HarrisX survey. As of quarter one, nearly 20% of U.S. subscribers were still on the ad-free basic plan, for which Netflix discontinued new subscriptions last summer. The streamer is already at work on eliminating that tier. Bite Me, that's the one I've been on for over a decade, entirely in some markets, starting with Canada and the UK in quarter 2, and taking it from there. The company's quarter 4 23 shareholder noted. The question, of course, is how many users will be lost versus how many will migrate to the ad-supported plan once the basic tier is eliminated. Well, I'll be gone. I don't normally mind ads, but that's crap. I'm already paying more than than the tier with ads. Why would I say screw you? Sure, I'd save a few bucks, but you're kind of shafting a whole bunch of people that have been this way for over a decade. After you keep raising the prices over and over again, it's like every year we're getting a new price increase on everything. Given Netflix's success, I mean, they're really going to have to convince me to stay with it. Otherwise, I'm just going to use burn cards, because I'll use a burn card to watch Alice in Borderland or All of Us Are Dead or several other Korean and Japanese shows, or Stranger Things whenever it hits, although it's kind of dropped off, or definitely One Piece, because that was great. But yeah, you have given Netflix a success in converting many non-paying users through its password sharing crackdown. Yeah, they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that, and they're trying to say that was successful. I watched the shares on that one fall. However, it's logical to assume eliminating the basic plan would be a net benefit for the company, according to whom? Furthermore, Netflix's penetration in the U.S. remains lower than one might think, given the streamer's seeming omnipresence in the cultural landscape. While more than half of households subscribe to the service among every age bracket, penetration remains below 70% for all but one demographic, ages 25-29, per the Harris Tech survey. The ad plan will be a key tool for further expansion, particularly as growth from the password sharing crackdown begins to ebb. But while the crackdown has primarily been viewed as a short-term growth strategy, it could work in tandem with the AVOD tier as a long-term engine. As younger users exit their parents' households, for instance, they will be forced to begin paying for their own subscriptions and may find the ad-supported plan appealing as a low-cost option. Well, to be honest, if you're going to go that route, talking about ads, Tubi's free. Sure, you got a few ads on there, but there's plenty of good things on Tubi. Freebie, you get that one. You get a lot of other free services out there that you can watch. Sure, you'll have a few ads, but at least you're not paying for the ads. You're not paying the streamer for that, for them to show you ads just so you can watch the show you want. You can just go watch other things. And if you have a friend that has Netflix or something, go hang out with them and watch it on their TV. Same thing with Amazon Prime, with their Prime Video. If you got a friend that has Prime Video and has a Twitch account, and there's something particular you'd like to watch at home on their on Prime, without since you can't do the password share, all you gotta do is have your friend who has a Twitch account to do a watch party of various movies and stuff, because they're all the time adding stuff to the watch party feature on there. Because Twitch is owned by Amazon, you can do that. You won't the streamer won't make any money off of it, but they can alternately. And this is something I did over Christmas a while back. I did a marathon of It's a Wonderful Life for St. Jude. Just have a charity thing set up. You can't get subscribers or donations or ad revenue or anything from it, but you can have people that feel like it throw money at various good charities. If nothing else, you can still watch it. I mean, Twitch is free. It's free to be on Twitch. It's free to have a Twitch account and go watch somebody else stream it. In short, Netflix's push into ads is beginning to manifest the true potential it always possessed despite the slow start. And of course, that's good news for business shifting from a high growth model to a long-term slow growth one that will be increasingly reliant on ad revenues. You're becoming cable television. As the streamer reorients its focus to prioritize engagement rather than subscriber growth, advertisers will only become more vital to its business model with time spent on the AVOD tier driving revenue. If these survey results are any indication, user growth is more or less on rails at this point, and boosting engagement should indeed be a priority number one. Here's the catch. Another one they're talking about, oh, they got growth. They don't have subscriber growth. They see this every time they have a decent show come out or somebody talks about a decent show coming out. They see an influx of people watching until they've seen every episode and then they drop off. Basically, it lasts, about a month. Smart people get burn cards. I mean, seriously. Don't pirate. That's one of the things they talked about. Another one was piracy. Don't pirate from these places. Get a burn card. Pay for a 1 month subscription. Watch after you're sure that whatever show's on there and anything that you may have extras, other shows on that you may want to watch. Get a burn card. Watch it all in a month. And by having a burn card, it makes sure that it won't auto-renew and you're good to go. But anyways, I thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like. Maybe consider subscribing. And I will catch you in the next video.